The Duchess of Sussex has revealed that she suffered a miscarriage back in July. Meghan's personal account appears in an op-ed in the New York Times. She writes, "I knew as I clutched my firstborn child that I was losing my second. She and Prince Harry have an 18-month-old son, Archie." The Duchess writes that by opening up, she hopes to help others who have shared the same experience. Buckingham Palace has said that the statement of the disclosure was, quote, "a deeply personal matter which we would not comment on." Royal commentator Victoria Arbiter joins me now. Victoria, good morning. Good to see you.
Good morning to you.
Many people are applauding Meghan's decision to make this very personal experience public. What is your take on this, and how do you expect the palace would react behind closed doors to this?
Well, Meghan is actually not the first member of the royal family to share her grief publicly over a miscarriage. Back in 2018, Zara Tindall spoke very honestly and authentically about the two miscarriages she had suffered. Sophie Wessex, the wife of Prince Edward, she lost her first baby in 2001, and she too has spoken about how unimaginable it is to lose a child. But I think when we see people like members of the royal family, and in this instance, the Duchess of Sussex, speaking about something that has historically been surrounded by unwarranted shame, as the Duchess wrote in her piece. There's a stigma, there's a taboo. It reduces that. And when someone like Meghan stands up and says, hey, look, I experienced this, then people all over the world will find comfort in knowing they're not alone, that there's no shame in seeking help, and that this is something that a huge number of people are dealing with. Now, in terms of the palace, they will respect the Duchess's privacy. They generally don't comment on medical issues, but I think they too will be feeling this loss tremendously in terms of members of the family.
Do you think that Meghan and Harry would have shared the fact that they were going to go public with this with the royal family before doing so?
Yes, it's certainly possible. I think Harry is very aware that it's always better to give Buckingham Palace a heads up before a big story breaks. And of course, this is a big story. Harry and Meghan garner eyeballs, whatever it is that they do, there's always a huge amount of media attention. But this is particularly personal. And Meghan, writing as she did in such a raw and authentic fashion, was bound to get a lot of attention. So yes, I suspect they did give Buckingham Palace a heads up, but she hasn't done anything untoward in sharing her grief. Actually, what she's done by writing this piece is provide help to millions of other people, and to say to people, you can seek help, and it's important that all of us check in with each other and just make sure everyone's okay.
Yeah, and it seems, Victoria, that's the bigger statement that she was making, because she said that she asked her husband, are you okay? That very simple question that was asked of her by a reporter when they were shooting that documentary in Africa. Do you think that will resonate with people?
Very much so. It's such a small question, isn't it? It's so simple in its execution. Are you okay? But it's so loaded. And often we'll say to people, are you okay? And yet you don't really care about the response. And I think what Meghan is really promoting here is how important it is to check in with each other and to really focus on each other. As she talks about again in this piece, this has been a very difficult year in terms of division, police brutality, the response to coronavirus, response to the election. So now more than ever, we are sharing a common grief, and it's really important that we do check in with each other. And I think it's interesting too, often it's the people you don't think you need to ask if they're okay that need that question more than anybody else. It's very easy for us to assume that she lives in a big fancy mansion and wants for nothing, but she still deals with these very human, very personal issues. And so it's been incredibly courageous of her to share her story with the world.
Victoria Arbiter, always great to see you. Thank you so much. You take care.
Thank you very much.